Let me ask you something. If someone stopped you after church today and said, "Name the biblical stewardship principles you actually applied to your money this month," could you answer that? Not principles you've heard, not principles you've nodded at in a sermon, principles you've applied. Most believers can't answer that question, and that silence is telling. Here's what's happening. You've been told two things about stewardship that are quietly costing you. Lie 1, stewardship is just a fancy word for tithing. Lie 2, stewardship is something pastors bring up during building campaigns. Both of those are incomplete, and that incompleteness is costing you, not just financially, but spiritually. By the end of this video, you'll have 5 specific, actionable stewardship principles that transform how you handle every dollar, not theory, application. And I want to flag something right now. There is one principle in the middle of this list that most believers have never heard preached. I'm going to give it to you at the 5-minute mark. Stay with me. Principle 1, you own nothing. Let's start at the foundation. Psalm 24:1. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. Pause on that. That is not poetry. That is a legal document. God owns everything, including everything sitting in your bank account right now. Here's where most believers get this wrong. You've been thinking like an owner who donates a portion to God. That's backwards. You are a steward managing all of God's resources, and He lets you keep some for expenses. Not an owner managing a portion, a steward managing everything. That shift, that one shift, changes how you pray about money. You stop asking God to bless your finances. You start asking how to manage His resources well. One question changes your entire posture. God, how do you want me to handle what you placed in my hands this month? You own nothing. You manage everything. That's the foundation. But a foundation without a framework is just a slab. Principle 2 builds the framework. Principle 2, the first fruits framework. Proverbs 3:9-10. Proverbs 3:9-10. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing. Notice the word, first fruits. Not last fruits, not leftover fruits. First. The biblical order of operations is not pay your bills, handle your needs, then give God what's comfortable. It is give first, then operate on what remains. That $100 that hits your account on Friday, God is watching what you do with the first portion, not the comfortable remainder, the first. Let me be honest about what this exposes. Most people's giving is reactive. It happens after the rent is covered, after the groceries are bought, after the subscriptions renew. Whatever's left, if anything, finds its way to the offering. That is not first fruits. That is last fruits. And Proverbs doesn't say last fruits produces overflow. This is not about a percentage. It's about priority. The percentage flows from the priority, not the other way around. First fruits giving says, God, you are first, before the rent, before the groceries, before everything else. Priority established. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable, because God doesn't just watch the big gifts. Principle 3, the small money test. This is the one I flagged. This is the principle most believers have never heard preached. And honestly, this is the one that wrecked me. Luke 16:10-11. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. So if you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? Pause. Let me be precise about why this matters. God is not sitting in heaven waiting to see if you can handle $1 million. He is watching how you handle $47. Right now, today, this week, He is watching the $47 before He gives you the assignment that requires $4,700. He is watching the $4,700 before He releases the $470,000. Most Christians are praying for a financial breakthrough while failing the small money test every single week. Think about that. Quick pause. If this is landing, hit subscribe, because this is exactly what Kingdom Wealth HQ is about. Back to it. Here's your practical step on this one. Pull up your bank statement right now or after this video. Look at every transaction under $20 from the last 30 days. What do those transactions say about your stewardship? Are they intentional, impulsive, aligned with someone who's been trusted with very little? Because God is reading that statement too. If you're uncomfortable right now, good. That's conviction, not condemnation. Principle 4 is where this gets powerful. Principle 4, generosity is spiritual warfare. 2 Corinthians 9:6-8. 2 Corinthians 9:6-8. Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. God loves a cheerful giver. Notice what Paul does not say. He does not say God loves an obligated giver. He doesn't say God loves a guilty giver. Cheerful, willing, strategic. Here's the reframe I want you to carry. Generosity is not God's fundraising strategy. It is his spiritual warfare strategy. Every single generous act is a declaration. Money is not my God. God is my God. This is exactly why the enemy fights your giving harder than anything else. He doesn't care if you make money. He cares if money makes you. Say that again to yourself. He doesn't care if you make money. He cares if money makes you. Stinginess is not a budget problem. Stinginess is a trust problem. You cannot outgive God, not because he needs your resources, but because he honors your faith. Every time you give when it's inconvenient, when it stretches you, when it doesn't make financial sense, you are pulling a weapon off the rack. So we've covered ownership, priority, testing, and warfare. But there is one more, and it is the one that determines whether any of this actually matters in 100 years. Principle 5, the eternal ROI, Matthew 6:19-21. Matthew 6:19-21. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Every financial decision you make is an investment. The only question is, which kingdom are you investing in? I want to be precise. This is not money is evil. This is money is a tool, and tools are judged by what they build. A portfolio that impresses your financial advisor but produces zero eternal impact is not a kingdom portfolio. That doesn't mean you don't invest. It means you invest with a different scorecard, a longer scorecard. Here's the question I ask myself before every significant financial decision. In 10,000 years, will I be glad I spent this money this way? That question will cut through almost any financial confusion you face. Earthly ROI is measured in percentages. Eternal ROI is measured in souls. Here's your 30-day challenge. Apply all 5 principles. Not just read them, apply them. Track what changes, not just in your bank account, in your spirit. One more time. You own nothing. God gets first. Small money matters. Generosity is warfare. Eternity is the ROI. 5 principles, 1 direction, 1 kingdom. Come down to the comments and tell me, which of these 5 principles do you need to apply this week? Don't overthink it. Just drop a number, 1 through 5. I am going to be in those comments. Steward well, give boldly, and remember, the wealth you're building isn't just for you. It's for the kingdom. This is Kingdom Wealth HQ, where faith and finance meet. I'll see you in the next one.